They've conquered mountains, stormed through deserts, and raced across the prairies. Plumes of smoke billow from twin stacks. 4 sets of drive wheels spin in the breeze, and a deep-toned 3-chime whistle declares the arrival of a colossal machine. Union Pacific's Big Boy. Something else that's big is the savings you can get with today's sponsor, Saily. Saily is a digital SIM card service that prevents you from getting charged expensive roaming fees when traveling abroad. Maybe you live in Canada, hi Canada, and want to visit the US to see the big boy. Just download the Saily app, pick the data plan of the country you're visiting, tap install eSIM, and boom, it's activated and you're done. No need to hunt for an unsecure public Wi-Fi connection, and you can send all the pictures you want to your friends and family back home. There's individual plans for over 180 countries and 8 regional plans if you're Mr. Worldwide going on a multi-country tour. As a bonus, you can get an exclusive 15% discount on Saily data plans by using my code, AmtrakGuy365, at checkout. Link is in the description and pinned comment. Thank you to Saily for sponsoring today's video. Sleek steam streamliners were headlining American railroads throughout the 1930s. At the same time, more utilitarian freight engines were rapidly growing in size to meet increasing traffic demands. The onset of superpower steam meant more space was needed to fit a booster and a larger firebox and superheater. Locomotive builders were approaching the pinnacle of steam power. Over 120 years of experience meant they understood their craft and the intricate technology behind it, as speed, efficiency, and pulling power were breaking records across the board. The Union Pacific was just one railroad that was part of this trend. A major obstacle in UP's path between east and west were the Wasatch Mountains. Locomotives like the TTT class, 9000 series, and the Challenger showcased an evolutionary tale of growth as the railroad sought to maintain speed and power in the name of quality and expedited service. The Challengers were introduced in 1936 as the brainchild of UP mechanical engineer Arthur H. Fetters and the American Locomotive Company. They spanned 105 feet long with a 4-6-6-4 wheel arrangement and tipped the scales at 889,550 pounds. While the Challenger was based upon the 9000 class, the latter was a rigid frame design, meaning everything was attached to the frame. A locomotive as long as the Challenger would require articulation to negotiate curves in the track. Using technology pioneered by Anatole Mallet, the frame was split into 2 engine units connected with a hinge pin, allowing the front unit to turn independently. You'll notice the boiler swings outwards as it's physically connected to the rear engine unit, but not the front unit. The body realigns itself once the track straightens out. Unlike previous articulated designs reserved for slow drag freights, the Challengers were capable of 70 miles an hour thanks to an operating boiler pressure of 280 psi and 69-inch drive wheels. This meant they were just as capable hauling express passenger trains as they were lugging heavy and fast freights. Despite the 97,305 pounds of tractive effort, the engine still struggled to climb the Wasatch Range's gradients that hovered around 1%, and helper engines were often required, eating up precious time and resources. So in the name of maintaining expedited and quality service to their customers, UP's Otto Jabelman and Alco worked to figure out a solution in the form of a new locomotive model. Much of the Challenger's visual and mechanical design would remain intact. However, the firebox grew from 108 square feet to 150, boiler pressure went from 280 psi to 300, 2 sets of 6 driving wheels became 8, and driving wheel diameter decreased from 69 inches to 68. These changes resulted in a 4A84 design planned to be named Wasatch, but after an Alco employee wrote the name Big Boy on the smokebox of the first production model, the latter name stuck. They were rated for speeds of 80 miles per hour, producing upwards of 7,000 horsepower and 135,375 pounds of tractive effort. Engine and tender weighed in at a monstrous 1.1 million pounds. They came in at a length of 132 feet 9 inches, a width of 11 feet, and a height of 16 feet 2 inches. The locomotives were equipped with a Hancock long bell 3-chime whistle. The fall of 1941 saw the manufacture of 20 Big Boy locomotives numbered 4000 to 4019. Each one cost $265,000, adjusted for inflation that'd be $5.7 million today. Visually speaking, they were quite the imposing machine.
Heavy-jowled with bulky cylinders, each had a bright eye low on a double chin of air compressors. The bell was a forelock, the pilot like a steel beard.
The gray smoke box provides some color contrast, and a single handrail leaves the big boy with a stoic-looking expression, unfazed by whatever challenges lay before it. Behind was a boiler with over a mile's worth of tubing and flues inside. To feed the big boy's massive appetite was a tender that held upwards of 25,000 gallons of water and 56,000 pounds of coal, automatically fed through a mechanical stoker. It was pretty tough to shovel enough coal continuously by hand to keep the engines moving if the stoker broke. It'd be enough manual labor to kill Jeremy Clarkson 20 times over. The big boys were put to service around Utah and Wyoming, hauling 3,600-ton freights up to 120 cars long. Capable and reliable machines they were, hustling trains around the clock no matter the weather from Ogden, Utah to Cheyenne, Wyoming and North Platte, Nebraska. Train crews sang the praises of Big Boy, describing them as sure-footed and smooth riding thanks to roller bearings. Additionally, they were quite efficient and user-friendly to the point that even novice firemen could do the job well. They proved to be a valuable asset, arriving just in time for a surge in freight traffic brought about by World War II, leading to a second batch of engines arriving in 1944. Hi, it's me, Jared. I'm just interrupting the video for a second because I am aware that Big Boy number 4005 derailed, but that's not really something I want to cover in great detail here. So if you want to learn more about it, the Forney Museum of Transportation has a great article all about it. Despite the ever-increasing presence of the diesel locomotive after the war, the big boys were kept hard at work. They earned the title of being one of the most powerful, heaviest, and largest steam locomotives in the world. By the mid-1950s, however, the writing was on the wall. The so-called aluminum horse was on its way to replace the iron horse. Diesel power was cheaper, more flexible, cleaner, and easier to maintain. It was the future. By the late 50s, the big boy was reduced to running between Cheyenne and Laramie during the fall harvest season. As time came for the engines to be overhauled, UP instead elected to place them in storage. July 1959 saw the final revenue run of a big boy with number 4015. 4 engines were kept in operational condition in case a traffic surge arose, but diesels proved to be more than capable of their workload. After racking up over 800,000 miles each, the big boy's formal retirement came in 1962, with scrapping following suit. They were a shining achievement of man-made steam power, a testament to how far locomotives had come since those pioneering days. No person or machine can truly escape the passage of time or the sounds of progress, and everything must have its end. While the winds of time had whisked away the remaining echoes of Big Boy's whistle, 8 of the class were thankfully preserved throughout the 1960s and 70s. Most notable of this group was number 4014. After 18 years of service and 2 years of storage, 1961 saw the engine donated to the Southern California chapter of the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society in Pomona, California. There it sat on display until Union Pacific reacquired the engine in 2013 with the goal of restoring it to operational condition. Under the lead of Ed Dickens, 4014 was transferred to the UP Steam Shop in Cheyenne, where it sat alongside UP 844 as it was overhauled. In the midst of the move, the steam shop was renovated and expanded to better accommodate the big boy. After work on 844 was finished in 2016, focus was moved to 4014. It was disassembled and fabrication of new parts by the UP Steam Team was underway, along with converting the engine from burning coal to oil to reduce costs. Plus it was cleaner and safer anyway, with fewer sparks produced. Challenger number 3985's oil tender would be used in place of Big Boy's coal tender to expedite the restoration. Meanwhile, the Strasburg Railroad of Pennsylvania was tasked with refurbishing the wheels and axles. 3 years of work later, 4014 was reassembled and the sleeping giant woke from its 60-year slumber on May 1st, 2019, with a test run occurring the next day. It joined the ranks of UP's Heritage Fleet and double-headed an excursion with 844 on May 4th from Cheyenne to Ogden. It was to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Transcontinental Railroad's completion in a ceremony reminiscent of the original. Shortly thereafter, Big Boy began its solo career by touring parts of UP's network, becoming the largest and most powerful operating steam locomotive in the world. The disaster that was 2020 and the COVID-19 pandemic put a stop to the excursions, but since 2021, Big Boy has continued touring the country annually. That same year, it became the first mainline steam locomotive to be equipped with positive train control to meet federal safety requirements. It was powered through 4014's diesel helper, but in 2024, PTC equipment was installed into Big Boy's current tender, allowing it to run without a helper. Also of note, in June 2023, it pushed a stalled freight train up a hill. As you might expect, each excursion has brought out a massive audience consisting of mainstream media coverage, celebrities, rail fans, and the general public. No matter where people come from or what they believe in, everyone is equally as interested to see living, breathing history, especially one for the record books. Here's a size comparison of 4014 against some more contemporary vehicles, and then roughly juxtaposed with some other locomotives. Big Boy is just one iconic piece in a railroad that's been around for 152 years and helped connect the country with the Transcontinental Railroad. It's quintessentially American, big, loud, and proud. The Big Boy has most certainly left its mark in the books of railroad history. Its legacy and fan base is well deserved. With a throaty but booming whistle, the jet black body cruising past and shaking the ground beneath it, and the fact humans were even able to come up with something like this is just really impressive. While 4014 can remind us of a nostalgic era that's long since passed, the fact it's still running today is symbolic of a bright future ahead for steam preservation. Keeping history alive allows us to remember where we came from, how things have changed and what we can learn from it, and how we can keep moving forward. If you have a chance to see the Big Boy, take it, and take pictures and videos. Just be safe and reasonable about it. Create memories that'll last forever, and ignore anyone who says it's overrated or cringe. These days, it's not very often that steam locomotives can run on American main lines. Steam locomotives are art. The bodywork, intricate craftsmanship, and the process by which steam allows all of these moving parts to work in unison is representative of the indomitable human spirit and desire to create and discover solutions to problems. Of course, all of this wouldn't be possible without the hard work and dedication of the UP Steam team and all other parties involved. Thank you to all the people involved with keeping Big Boy running, and thank you for showing your love for history. Union Pacific's 4014 appears to have a high green light for a bright future ahead.
We're a great big rolling railroad, moving fast and running strong. And the power of our people is the music in our song. We're a million miles of history, shining in the sun. We're the Union Pacific Railroad people. We can handle it.
Thank you to my channel members. Special thanks to Mooter, Tommy Rosini, Grand Canyon Studios, Amtrak Fan 19, Gojira's Trains, The Winnipeg Railfan, Shenandoah Valley Railfan, Jack O-Beams, Puncake, Jackboy317, and Trains Railfan Gaming 1066 for subscribing to the Conductor tier. Your extra support really means a lot to me, especially with Christmas coming up. I'd also like to thank everyone who submitted their own pictures and videos for me to use here. It made putting this video together a lot easier, and it's always fun to get the community involved. Anyway, that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching, and if you made it this far, I want you to leave a comment down below that just says egg. That's it, just egg. I want to see how many people actually stick around to the end, and I want to confuse everyone. That's all for me, so I'll see you in another video.